Ethan Pierce with the French Tech News at Eureka Park at CES in Las Vegas. Always happy. It's turning into like a recurring theme that I get to do, and I love it. To get to talk with Clara Chapaz, the director of French Tech, which is obviously the organization that creates these delegations, organizes the startups as a kind of a unified group to defend their interests and to help promote them around the world. Here we're 140 startups at Eureka Park. That's about a third of, I think, what we had in 2020, but Eureka Park is about a third of the size it was, so it's pretty consistent. It's a great group of very interesting projects. Yeah. What are your thoughts just about CES and this really strong French Tech delegation?
We're actually the biggest delegation, international delegation, so we're really, really excited to be here. As you know, there was a lot of uncertainty. We kept a very close discussion with the startups to understand if they were ready to come, what they wanted to do with the CES. And we're super happy and proud that almost everyone made the trip there. We have 140 startups, and we think CES is very symbolic. This is where the French tech actually was covered in the international news for the first time. This is where we really can show what types of innovation France is capable of. And just simply for the startups, it's a way to connect, to create business opportunities.
And so as we look at some of the trends, we have the historical trends. We've got lots of, well, this is a trade show, so there's lots of hardware.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of the hardware has a software kind of back end to it. So we see a lot of artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Things around 5G or connectivity.
Yeah.
Obviously this year's big topic, they're loving the hashtags of blockchain and NFTs and metaverse.
There is actually a French delegation for blockchain here.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of startups in this field as well.
And I think there's also a delegation over at the convention center where normally the bigger stands are at that's focused on automotives for Business France.
Very
so
big.
That's really cool to see, not just the startup area, but that France is actually starting to have a larger presence in the kind of the scale-up space elsewhere at the conference. Maybe then we can just highlight on kind of the big subject right now, which is kind of the new one. We had the French Tech 120, we had the Next 40, these great projects to really support France's scale-ups in this next evolution. Now we have the Green 20.
Completely. So this is a theme we're particularly passionate about at the French Tech. It's green tech overall. We created almost a year ago, May 2021, a new program called Green 20, which supports the 20 most innovative companies when it comes to creating innovation for climate change, but also we have a very big commercial potential. And we think this is a place where we really have a card to play, to be kind of the third voice between the US and Asia, because there's no global winners yet for green tech, and we have everything you need to make it really big in France. We have talents, we have the values that are aligned with these types of technologies, we have the financing, we have the innovation. So what we decided to do at CES is actually to really emphasize this sector. We had a breakfast with the press this morning that showcased green tech companies, Innovafeed, which is doing farming for insects to feed animals, so really into the future of food. We had BFC, which is looking at sustainable batteries with a technology that is really amazing. They are doing like those really small chips batteries. That is super innovative, and they won an award actually at CES. And the last company is Neptech, who also won an award here, and who's creating green vessels, shuttles, to take people on the different rivers and stuff all around the world. So they actually are going to be partnering with Paris for the Olympic Games in 2024.
Yeah, I liked that when it was these hydrogen-powered water taxi kind of things, but it's a hydrofoil, so it kind of gets above the water.
Exactly.
Super interesting technology, especially because I guess there's a lot of complexity to creating the hydrogen-powered motors for boats because they weigh a whole lot more, so it creates problems. So that was a fascinating one, and then I really loved the story of, for example, I forget which brand it was that they mentioned for the batteries, but the fact that for the glucose monitoring, that company that creates those patches for the continuous glucose monitoring creates 200 million a year of those patches, and each one needs one of these tiny batteries.
Yeah.
And they've innovated on that, made it smaller, I think biodegradable, or there's a whole bunch of things there that are really interesting. So what I love about the green concept as well right now is it's very timely, not just because it's hashtag cool or whatever, but because I think there's two main things. I think the pandemic started to push this, but also just we see climate change stuff around us. We're feeling it. So innovation is swerving towards that. I guess really three things. If that's the first one, we kind of feel it.
Yeah.
The second one is companies are starting to realize that green is actually good business. So even
It
if you
is.
don't want to do green because you care,
Yeah.
sometimes it actually is more and more now the case. You can make more money, be more, have more margin, or do things better because you're actually doing the green version.
Yeah.
So I think that second idea is becoming a big deal. And the third one for me, and we see this a lot with the startups here, is that the generation that is inheriting the garbage that maybe we're leaving them, they're all entrepreneurs now. They're 20,
Yeah.
they're 23, they're 25, they're 28. And that's so.
And they want to change the world.
And without necessarily thinking about let's make Google or Facebook,
Yeah.
they're thinking about how do we fix that battery thing,
Yeah.
or how do we feed
How do
animals
we
in a better
use
way.
our skills to really solve the world problem? I think what we're also seeing, I would say the fourth factor is, as you know, as everyone knows, the big limiting factor for tech now globally, not just in France, is talent. Because you have all those companies raising amazing amount of money, who want to go fast, and to go fast, they need to hire fast. And in the war for talent, being able to show your values, to show why you're developing this innovation, to really have an impact on the planet, is something that is fundamental for talents, especially the younger generation.
Yeah.
So they have a big advantage when it comes to recruit.
Well, it's a great time to be, I think, a startup in France. I'm
Completely.
super excited to continue to see where you take the French Tech with your team over this year and in the coming time, and glad we could come to Vegas and to be able to do business in a masked, safe way. For all the people who are saying people didn't come or it's not safe, there are a lot of people who did come and it is safe, and so we're out there trying to help these people create the economy
Completely.
and drive forward, and I think it's an amazing message. Thank you for your presence,
Thank you.
for all your hard work,
And we wish the startups best success.
yeah,
in
it's going to be a
their few
great
days
week.
here.
CES is a little calm, but Eureka Park is fairly busy in a great way with lots of business, I think, already going on. Lots of good conversations startups are saying they're having. So good stuff. Thank you, Clara, for taking the time.
Thank you.